All right, now to this. The Justice Department is investigating the nonprofit which funded a portion of E. Jean Carroll's civil lawsuits against President Trump. The organization, American Future Republic, is run by billionaire Reid Hoffman. And sources tell CBS News prosecutors are looking into potential crimes, including money laundering, conspiracy, and obstruction. Hoffman could not be reached for comment. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman joins me on set for more on this case. Katrina, I remember we both covered the civil lawsuits extensively, so this may come to some people as a bit of a surprise. But what is the update on what is being investigated now?
Carroll, you're right. Yeah, we sat in that courtroom with E. Jean Carroll. But what's coming out now is that it is being looked into Reid Hoffman's organization. He is a billionaire. He's one of the co-founders of LinkedIn, and he gave some money to support E. Jean Carroll's lawsuits. So as part of that investigation, they are apparently looking at a deposition that she gave in 2022, where she initially said that there was no outside funding for her lawsuits. It later came out that Reid Hoffman was giving some funds to support those lawsuits. It's unclear whether she actually knew about that at the time. But so yes, there's been some confusing news about who was being investigated here. It is Reid Hoffman who is being investigated, not E. Jean Carroll, is our latest understanding of this.
And that's a key detail, because there was some reporting Thursday that perhaps she lied, she perjured herself when she said there was no other sources of funds for the lawsuit. But that issue in and of itself was already dealt with in the president's appeal of the results previously.
Yeah, Carroll, you're absolutely right, and that's really important to point out. Also, during the trial, the judge had deemed E. Jean Carroll credible and told Trump's attorneys that they couldn't ask her about this funding. And then later on appeal, the Second Circuit also did not see an issue there. It said that it didn't appear that she was even involved in who was or was not funding her lawsuit. But, it is important to note here, we've gotten also a new statement yesterday from the U.S. Attorney of Chicago, where this investigation is being led. And he said, in light of the widespread reporting and intense media and public interest in the E. Jean Carroll matter, they confirmed that they have not opened and they have never opened a criminal investigation into E. Jean Carroll. He said any claim to the contrary is categorically false.
All right, so that clears it up for today. I quickly want to ask you about former Attorney General Pam Bondi. She is expected to testify behind closed doors on Capitol Hill today about the Epstein files. What can we expect from that?
Carroll, this is going to be very different than they had originally planned. She was subpoenaed when she was still the Attorney General. Now this has turned into a closed-door transcribed interview. So we're not going to get a videotape of this. This is not something that the public can see anymore. But our understanding is that Pam Bondi will be asked hard questions about the release of the Epstein files. There were a lot of issues there, issues with redactions, issues with why a lot of the files were never released. So this is an opportunity for them to question her, and we will ultimately get to see a transcript of this, but not the interview itself.
Keep our eyes out for that. Today, Katrina, thanks so much.
Thank you.